Andy,
Hey, how you doing?
what's up, man? This is gonna be a great pod. Dune Part Two weekend, Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix. It's out. Um,
Mhm.
let's do it, man. Let's get right into it. I mean,
Yes.
let's do it.
All right. Yeah.
However you want to slice it is how we'll go.
All right. You guys heard him. This is a two-parter special edition. We're going to cover Avatar: The Last Airbender Netflix series. Okay, he's showing off his cup, and we're going to do Dune Part Two in the second half of the pod. So let's jump into the Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action adaptation.
Quick question:
Firstly, yes.
Is there a reason why we're starting with this and not Dune? I'm just curious.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is I always do series before movies. That's just kind of thing. That's how I work, and it came out before Dune.
Okay, cool,
Anyways, bitch.
cool.
So guys, the first section is Avatar: Last Airbender Netflix live action adaptation. So let's just give the audience our brief context as to where we are as fans when it comes to this property as a whole. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the show came out when I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. And I watched it as it aired on Nickelodeon. I was, I'm old
On
enough.
what loading?
Nickelodeon.
Oh my god.
I'm actually old enough to have seen it as a child, a teenager, a grown man. Like I've seen this show front to back so many times. I love it. And that's never like a recipe for success when you're going into an adaptation of something that you love. And it wasn't here, but that's okay. Money, give me your context.
Yeah, pretty much same. I watched it as a kid growing up too, watching in real time. Look forward to every week. It was actually I watched it with my dad. It's one of the few shows he watched. It was this
Mm,
show and Justice League Unlimited that we watched together because for some reason, as an adult, he was able to connect with that show and they gave us some really good bonding times. I remember those memories quite fondly.
that's awesome,
Um,
man.
yeah, and I love the show, man. I've watched it through its entirety about four times now in my life, and each time as I've gotten older, it's crazy. The show has literally gotten better. So that's just really a true testament. In
Hmm.
my opinion, it's probably the best animated show. Um, it's between this and actually the Justice League Unlimited, but I think it's probably this from just a storytelling standpoint. But it's close though. Um, and yeah, and I'm also a huge fan of Legend of Korra as well, which I don't think you finished. But so yeah, needless to say, guys, we're Avatar fans going into this. So
Hmm.
um, I'm not going to do the typical episode breakdown, but we can just we can just have an open dialogue about this show and go ahead and give me your thoughts about your overall opinions on the show first.
Yeah, man. Look, overall, I think that the creators or whoever made this show um, with Netflix, I think that they are fans of the source material, and I think it was evident. I mean, if you just look at stuff like the costume design, some of the actors that they hired for the show. If you look at some of the set pieces or the things that they tried to CGI, even like the intro music, the theme music in general, the outro music, the dialogue, like you can tell that these guys know, watch, and love Avatar. However, um, it feels like maybe they thought that their ideas were just better. Um, and I don't know, man. It's so weird because in my mind, I don't mind change. I mean, I never wanted a one to one adaptation. I think that would be absolutely ridiculous. But if you're going to change something, it has to mean something. Um, and really, the only thing that I think that really worked that they changed was the Zuko and his crew storyline, which I really enjoyed. Like I didn't see it coming. I was like that's a great twist. Other than that, there were plenty of things that they changed. Where I was just like, why? And again, I'm not against the change. I actually like I root for it. Like okay, change it, make it better. But to me, it just feels like oftentimes they weren't able to do that. So I don't know. I mean, overall, I didn't love this, but I kind of knew I wouldn't. The original creator and co-creator of the show, Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Kinesco, left this show for a reason, and boy, did I fucking find out why very early on. Um, ultimately, ultimately, this is my opinion. Ultimately, this just didn't line up with the vision that they had for the thing that they created. which is more than reason enough to say, you know what, guys, you do your thing. I'll wash my hands with it. Wish you the best. And yeah, it was pretty evident very, very early on that this was Avatar. It felt like it in spots, but ultimately, this is Netflix's version of that. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling. I didn't love it. I did not love this, but honestly, I didn't expect to. So, what do you think, Monty?
Did Avi like it? I'm just curious.
Uh, I don't think so.
You guys
But
didn't talk about the show.
well, I mean, her thing is if she sees me being any kind of pessimistic, she just doesn't want to talk about it. She's just like, okay, so you hate it, so whatever. Then I'm not going to say anything. So,
Okay.
whatever. I don't know.
Okay, I was just curious. Yeah, so well, guys, to give you just a little bit more context, the M Night Shyamalan movie is hated universally, and so I'm pretty sure me and Julian agree that that's a horrible movie. I do think this adaptation is better, but by how much is the real question. Um, there were some kind of worrisome things that kind of me and Julian both kind of touched on during our news pods about details that came out about the show prior to its release, and some of those things ended up mattering to me. Others just kind of didn't matter to me at all, like the whole soccer thing being feminist. Honestly, I thought it would bother me a lot more than it did. It didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in regards to what you said about the changes that were made, that Zuko one was a really good one, as well as, in my opinion, the best overall change out of all the ones that to me was the Ozai and Azula relationship. In season one of book one of the show, it wasn't Azula was hardly even in it. I think she's only teased at the
She
very end.
wasn't in it until the finale.
Yeah, and so, but in this, I love how they fleshed it out because in the animated show, which I just watched quite recently,
Quite
quite recently, um, it's really as simple as Ozai being like, "Okay, Azula, do what your brother can't do because he's fucking up. Go out and do what he can't do." In this show, they gave it some nuance. I mean, he's kind of toying with her and kind of testing her womanhood. He's like basically like, "Okay, I know that you're a prodigy, but I'm not going to let you know it." And I want you to come and let me know, that you're ready. And I kind of did appreciate that. But other than that change, I think a lot of the changes were kind of bullshit. Now, the whole destruction of the air temple was a really cool scene. It's not really a change because it did happen in the show, but we just didn't see it. But I did like that a lot. I thought episode one kind of started off within the first at least 20, 25 minutes up really, really, really promising. And then what I noticed is the tonal shift is when the kids come into play. And Avatar is just really hard to adapt because of the fact that it's a show geared towards a younger audience, but the main cast is comprised largely of children. And so, but it deals with things that are really dark and mature, like genocide and ethnic cleansing and stuff like that in war. And so it's a really fine balancing act you got to pull off with that kind of series. And it's much easier to pull off that balancing act, in my opinion, in animation as it is opposed to live action. And so I feel like you just got to go one way or the other. The whole balancing act that they tried to do here just made it feel insincere at times. Like if you either just make the show kiddie, which is fine, I guess, or just give it that Game of Thrones treatment that they kind of tease that they would give us, which I didn't see that. But I don't think you can pull off that kids just having fun. Oh, but there's war and people are getting killed. Like it's just really hard to do. Harry Potter pulled it off excellently. But other than that, I can't think of an adaptation that managed to do it well. Can you think of one?
Not off the top of my head, no. I mean, and not to cut you off or get you off your train of thought, but I just want to say, I feel like that was the worst part of the show, and it's unfortunate. And I'm talking about Aang, Sokka, and Katara. Anytime they were on the screen together or separate, I was just like, this show is ass. Mostly because they had no real camaraderie together. And also Aang, who I don't know the kid's name, and we've always got to give these like disclaimers whenever we talk about chat. No, fuck that. He sucked. He was a bad actor, and he needs to hear it. So, yeah, I'm not sorry. He was bad throughout the entire of the like. It felt like he was just reading dialogue instead of acting, and
let's do a
not
play-by-play of the characters and give our thoughts on that.
Okay. Aang sucked.
So
what do you think?
Okay.
He was ass. Okay. He was one of the main reasons why the show was bad to me.
So yeah, I'm glad you said that because in my opinion, one of the main shows why the show was bad was because there wasn't a single standout performance except for Daniel Day-Kim as Ozai.
I was about to say, hold on now, hold on now.
And the actor who played Gyatso, he brought a level of I don't know. I liked him a lot as well. Anyway, so Aang, you said he sucked. I don't think the kid sucked at all. I don't think he was good. I can't say he sucked, but for
He
me,
was
the biggest thing
terrible, bro.
that bothered me to me was the fact that his voice is just, oh my god, it was annoying as fuck. Like I thought Walker Scoba's voice as Percy was horrible. I mean, not horrible, but annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But he has this weird inflection he does with his voice where he just pronounces every fucking word clear as fuck. That sounds horrible.
What?
I just did not like Aang's voice, but the actor, I thought I thought he brought moments of that Aang from the cartoon at times, but we disagree on that, obviously.
There was not a
But
single scene that he was in where I was like, "Damn, that's the Avatar right there." Like even the end, like
for me, it was when he was okay.
Go ahead.
When he was with Zuko, when Zuko saved him when they copied that episode 6, and he was just talking to him and basically like getting Zuko to kind of show glimpses of his humanity. I was like, okay, that's the Aang in the cartoon. I thought that was the best that I saw from him. But anyway, Sokka, the actor who plays him.
Yeah, I didn't have a huge problem with Sokka. I just thought that he just existed. And that could be partly due to the things that they took out about his character that were meant to help him grow as a character throughout this season. But I've heard a lot of people shitting on him and his performance, but honestly, like he didn't bother me in any scene that he was in. He was just there. So I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but he was like the least annoying team or what is it? Team Avatar member. So take that for what it's worth.
It's so crazy how people can just have completely different TLs. I've seen nothing but praise for this Sokka. I don't
Really?
think he was. Yeah. Now, I think he was the best in Team Avatar, but that's not saying much at all.
It's not. It's not.
But I do think it was cool how I think his voice actually really is quite similar to the voice actor who played in the cartoon. I thought that was interesting. But other than that, like you said, he wasn't great to me. But he did give me remnants of the cartoon counterpart, I guess, the most.
Okay.
Katara. What are your thoughts on Katara?
Yeah, another horrible actress. She was god awful, man. She was god awful. And look, Katara is one of those characters in the show that I didn't like initially, and then as the series went on, especially towards the end of season 1, I grew to love Katara. Like she's one of my favorite characters in the show, and I didn't have that same journey with this Katara. Now, that's not all of the actress's fault. I put that mostly on the direction and the writing for the character because towards the end of the season, I'm sorry, throughout the season building up to the big fight at the Northern Water Tribe, Katara is like she's useless. Like if there is not a puddle of water right near her to do her little one move that she can do, she can't do anything. And in the actual cartoon, we see Katara's growth from episode 1 to the Northern Water Tribe fight. Like we see it. Not only do we see it to a point where she's teaching Aang. And like for whatever reason, they decided that Aang didn't need a waterbender this season. Whatever. It actually really bothers me, but whatever. But all of a sudden, Katara she's literally doing nothing the entire season, and then in the finale, she's Master Katara all of a sudden after one fight with Master Paku. Like, hold on, wait a minute. Like, how did she just go from level 1 to level 100 like that? Yeah, I didn't have any fun with Katara.
I agree. I think Katara was easily one of the worst parts of the main cast of the show, if not the worst part. And that sucks because Katara is such a fan favorite and such a presence in Team Avatar. I mean, she has the motherly aspect to her, but she has that feistiness, which was just void. And I guess I blame the writing, but at the same time, the actress that played her just does not emote at all. Like this girl has no emotion on her face. She could be having the happiest day of her life or the saddest, and you'd never know. It's just like, oh, like her face just won't change. And I'm like, Katara deserves so much better than that. And so the fact that we have to go with her going forward is kind of disheartening, to be honest. Because, like I said, Katara just has that spunk, in the show that we just didn't get at all. What's that, a shot?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
I'm off to my baby.
Oh, don't not okay. Look at something over there. Zuko
and
Iroh.
Okay.
Zuko and Iroh.
So none of these episodes were inherently good until episode 6 came on. Episode 6 was the Blue Spirit episode. And it's so funny, man. Like I really hate to say this because I feel like I'm just being negative, but I'm pretty sure like the entirety of like Aang, Sokka, and Katara were not in this episode at all, or if they were very sparingly used. And
No, it was
I don't
Sokka and
know.
Katara. Sokka and Katara were in that spirit
They were
world,
in
which
the
I was like,
spirit world.
yes. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, they're not here.
Finally, get these fuckers out of here. But yeah, look, man. Zuko, and the actor who played him, and Iroh, man, they were both aside from Daniel Day Kim's Fire Lord Ozai, they were both the
They
standouts for me.
ran. He
Hold on. He ran. Oh shit! Knock my fucking headphones off. Yeah, look, this nigga was sassy. Okay, he was
He said
sassy.
there was ice in places where there were not supposed to be ice. What do you think that fucking means, bitch?
Nah, man. But look, I actually really enjoyed the performance and the journey that we went on with Zuko. He was supposed to be that annoying Team Rocket character that would show up everywhere the main cast was, and failed to retrieve the Avatar. And I'm actually excited for both of them to continue on with this series, because obviously their journeys are. I mean, it's only going to get more and more in depth. So I'm actually excited for those two. I really enjoy anytime both of them were on the screen, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Zuko has arguably the best arc in animation. Like I haven't seen any anime, so I've seen only a limited amount of anime. So out of the animation that I've seen, the cartoons and shit, best arc. Anyway, now this Zuko, I've been seeing a lot of praise for this kid, and I just don't get it. I don't think he's bad at all, but I don't. I feel what you feel towards Sokka. I just feel complete indifference. I would love for him to prove me wrong in season 2. I don't think he's bad, like I said. Definitely
Mm-hmm.
a better starting place than Aang,
Mm-hmm.
Katara, and all them. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. Zuko is just such a great character, and
Yeah.
you just got to knock it out of the park. And like I said, it could be totally the writing and maybe not the actor at all, but maybe when he has a chance to be in those situations where he can grow, or we can see that on screen growth, and he'll be able to shine. Iroh, I thought he was good as well. I didn't think he was. I mean,
It's
Uncle
so
Iroh is
hard
my
to
favorite
mess up a
character.
character like
Yeah,
that, though.
Iroh is my favorite character in the entire show, in the animated show. And so I did kind of go in like, you can't be Iroh. And by episode 6, I was like, okay, he's fine. So I didn't think he was bad at all. I think he was good actually for what he was given.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 6, I agree with you, is the best episode of the entire. Well, I don't know if you said that or not, but to me, it's
I
the
did.
best episode of the entire season. And I think not because of the execution at all. Honestly, I think it's just simply because that story just translates really well to live action, and we get to
Mm-hmm.
see the Agni Kai, which is really cool. I think they added some stuff which is really good with Ozai and Zuko after the fact. I thought that was really cool, and get to see why he's on his crusade to get the Avatar, whatever. And so yeah, that's by far the best episode in my opinion.
Real quick before we move on, I just want to say, and I'm pretty sure I posted this on Twitter or Facebook, I can't remember, but I think we need to give credit to the voice actors who did the original incarnation of the show, because they brought these characters to life in ways that we really don't even realize. Like Prince Zuko and what Dante Bosco was able to do for that character, he's made that character live forever. Like Dante Bosco is one of the greatest voice actors of all time, in my opinion. And he wasn't before Prince Zuko. He was still good, like he was still great, but him bringing Prince Zuko to life all those years ago and still being relevant, it's just, man, it's insane. And but like that entire cast was just great. But before they were voice actors, they were actual actors, and I think that's like something that most people miss when they're watching stuff like this, because you can see. I guess what I'm trying to say is like people often think that voice acting is just easy, or like it's easier to pull off because you're only using your voice, when in fact I feel like it's the opposite. Like you only have your voice to give the same emotion an actor who can give everything, on screen. So shout out to like the entire voice cast of Avatar for like bringing these characters to life, for being good actors. In my opinion, there was like not one bad actor in that entire show. And we've already talked about 3 or 4 in this Netflix live action. So yeah, shout out to the voice cast.
Excellent point. Excellent point. Now give me your thoughts on Ozai and just any kind of other characters that you wanted to touch on, whether it be Jet, Ty Lee, anybody that you think is worth mentioning.
So yeah, before I talk about Ozai, I want to talk about Azula. You mentioned that you liked that the thing they did with her and Ozai. I wasn't a big fan of it.
Okay.
To me, I understood where they were going with it, but it it, it just made Azula feel like a side character, like and a character that I didn't care about. It felt like she had maybe 5 total minutes of screen time throughout 6 episodes, which is just weird for Azula. Like,
but more than she got in book 1 of the animated show.
well, she wasn't in it for a reason, that's kind of where I'm going. Like, why was she even in this show? Like, to what end?
I think it sets her up for when she takes control of Ba Sing Se in book 2. We get to have more context as to who she is besides just a snarling face in the background. We have a little bit more to go off on. We know she's a prodigy. We know that she went against the grain. We know that she was giving information to General Zhao, stuff like that. So to me, I think it's for the better. But I guess I see your point as well.
Okay, so
Like
coming from
she's a mastermind at 14 years old. Like that's established.
Coming from the standpoint of somebody who knows, loves, and consumes this show, I didn't need any of that personally. But obviously, Netflix is broadcasting this to an entirely new audience that may have no idea who Azula is. So okay, I get it. Jet was asked. I mean, it's so funny. Like when I saw this nigga riding on his car, I was like, wait, is that Jet? Like Jet? Yeah. And then when I saw him put his little leaf in and try to be cool, I was like, this nigga has no swag. Like he doesn't. But look, some things are
and
hard.
Jet was him in our cartoon too. He was.
He was
a non-bender fucking them benders up.
I some things are just hard to translate. May and Ty Lee, they did matter, just like Azula, in my opinion. Fire Lord Ozai, though. Daniel Day Kim is just he's just awesome. Like he's been awesome for like 20 years. And just like the presence of this nigga as like you believed it instantly. Like, oh, like this nigga is serious. Like this nigga is the fire fucking lord, bitch. Like yeah, you're him. He was perfect, man. I appreciated his tenacity, his evilness. I loved it. He was the standout of the show in the short time that he was given.
Totally agree, man. Daniel Day Kim was the scene stealer for me. And it just to me it just goes to show like kind of what I mentioned during the Percy Jackson review. Like the show just kind of felt like meh, and then as soon as an actor comes on the screen, like a Lance Reddick or the guy I forgot the actor's name who plays Percy, it just Poseidon, it just changes the whole feeling of the show. Like, and that's just to me speaks to the credit of like what a good actor can do or a great actor can do. Just like I wish that show was able to maintain whatever energy Daniel Day Kim was giving. I wish everybody had that energy. You know, maybe that's a selfish wish of me, but I mean, he just brought it, man. He had that instant presence and that instant energy. I was surprised during the Agni Kai. I knew he was in shape back in the day, but I'm like, this nigga's still in shape. This nigga took his shirt off. I was like, what the fuck? 6-pack chest. I was like, oh my god.
Did you know that Daniel Day Kim is actually older than the actor who plays Uncle Iroh?
Uncle Iroh, I saw that. Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah.
That is crazy. So shout out to him, man.
Yeah. In regards to other little ancillary characters, Ty Lee and May, like he said, they weren't given anything to do. Jet felt like an anime character, and he felt like he was in the wrong show. Gran, oh my god, fucking horrible. Like, first of all, the whole thing about her
niggas got beef with Gran.
Listen.
What?
The whole thing about her stealing Katara's shine, I don't care about that shit. It was funny to tweet about, but the actress herself, the line delivery, like, there was water, and then there was fire. I'm like, bitch, like you got less emotion than Katara.
Wow.
General Zhao, horrible in my opinion. I mean,
really,
I've seen an actor be good. I can't remember what I've seen in him before. I've seen him in a couple things, but he was horrible. And my biggest complaint with the show, honestly, is that, in my opinion, is that this was a live action show, but you could tell there was some kind of direction behind the camera where they kind of wanted everybody to maintain this cartoon-like speaking cadence and their vocal inflections and their delivery. And to me, that just doesn't translate well. It made things feel so insincere. It's okay to be different. Like, yeah, like you said, I didn't expect a one-to-one adaptation either. But they really held on tight to this idea that there has to be like one-to-one in certain areas of the shows. I just did not agree with it. Did you get that as well? Like, people were like, outside of the main cast, people were speaking like cartoons and they were real people. It just threw me off.
Not really, no. But I mean, that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. I just didn't pick up on it, I guess. One thing I do want to mention real quick before I forget. Some of the changes, or I guess it's like I said, it's not really changes. It's just more backstory given about the Southern Air Temple being destroyed. That was cool. what I thought was even cooler was seeing the past avatars, like seeing Avatar Kuruk, who we've never seen, seeing more of Kyoshi. That first of all,
She's a fan
I
favorite.
bro, like I don't understand people's weird obsession with Avatar Kyoshi. Like I just don't. But when
She's a
she
bad
was in
bitch.
that scene talking to Aang in that forest, I was like, yes, ma'am, yes, fucking ma'am. Like this bitch was 10 feet tall. Talking about you gotta kill them all. I was it's like, okay,
Right.
thank you, thank you.
Kiyoshi has always been about just killing niggas, and I love that about her.
Yeah,
Like
I
like even in the books and the comics and Korra,
yeah.
it remains consistent. Kiyoshi has been like, I'm the Avatar that wants to just kill these niggas. So I don't give a fuck about none of that peace shit, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, seeing Avatar Kuruk was cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've only seen Kyoshi, Roku, and the first one, at least, in anything that I've seen. So anyway, yeah. I love that stuff. It was cool seeing the owl nigga from book 2. Like, I don't know what the fuck he was doing in the spirit world, but okay. Wang Shitong. Anyway, I'm showing off. All right, Monty.
Yeah, I'm about to
It's
say
on you.
like, I was like, Wang Shi-tang. But yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, what's sad about this show is that it really, honestly, I started hate watching it very early. And when I say hate watching it,
Mm.
I didn't hate the show, but I knew from episode 2, I was like, okay, this isn't going to be a great adaptation, and so I kind of just like locked into
You
that
were
kind
just
of
watching it
mindset.
just to finish it?
Yeah, and I honestly watched the show in 2 days, not because it was just so great, but just because number one, I didn't want to have spoilers and stuff like that, and people spoiling it for me. And number
Spoilers.
two, I was just so eager to get through it so I could be done with it because I'm like, I don't want to hold this off for a week and like because I didn't look forward to each episode at all, so that was sad.
Mm.
Now let's talk about did any of the action sequences stand out to you or the
Thank
action
you.
period?
No. Mostly all of the action was absolutely god awful. And I think the okay, hold on. Most of the bending was absolutely god awful, and I think I saw somebody on Twitter say this, and I think they made a great point. They're treating bending like magic instead of martial arts, and I think that's like the biggest misstep that you can do in a show like this. Again, maybe they just didn't give a fuck about the people that have seen this, and they're targeting an entirely new audience. And if that, okay, fine. And I'm all the reason I'm really bringing that point up is because Avi's dad said that he loved this show, like he loved it. He loved season 1. So that nigga ain't never seen the OG cartoon. So hey, man, if Netflix is trying to get them, then you got them. But for for people that have seen for for people that have seen the show, I mean, like martial arts and bending are hand in hand. Like they're not just fireball, like that's not it, bro. That's not it. And it feels like that happened way too often. Uh, the only time that I could tell that they like actually cared about like the choreograph, like the fight sequences, was when they were just trying to copy stuff from the show, like Aang versus Boomy, or when it was Katara versus Master Paku, or when it was Zuko versus Katara. Like other than that, I feel like literally any other ancillary battle that happened, it was just here's a fireball, and like it just disappointed me.
Speaking of Boomy, there's been some big kind of narrative talks online about people loving Boomy or hating this rendition of Boomy because it's a very different
Really?
interpretation of what he was in the cartoon. What did Boomy bother you at all?
No. Um, this
Bothered
was like
me.
episode 3 or 4, so yeah, but I was completely checked out by this time, so I did not give a fuck about King Boomy. Sorry, I didn't
Okay.
care.
Okay.
He
Okay.
bothered
Well,
you?
but yeah, he did because it was different in the show. It was one of those changes that I mentioned earlier that I just didn't think made any sense. But anyway,
Okay.
now back to what you said about the bending and the magic and all that shit. Now, my only counter to that is I saw somebody on TikTok. I don't know if this is true or not, but they said that they tried to do the opposite of what M Night Shyamalan did because he made it very hyper realistic. The bending,
Mm-hmm.
in turn, maybe not the choreo that goes with it, but just how it would look. And
Mm-hmm.
so that they thought they had to go on the opposite end of the spectrum and make it look like you said more like magic, which I think there's a balance in between. I agree with you on that. One of the biggest things that bothered me though was the firebenders and how during the opening scene in the Southern Air Temple when Sozin is about to kill Gyatso, he just sets himself on fire like he's fucking the Human Torch. I'm like, you can't do that. You're a firebender, but fire still would burn the fuck out of you. Otherwise, how would Zuko get his scar? Did you notice that? Like he like set himself on fire?
I don't remember that scene. I mean, I remember Sozin killing Gyatso, but I don't remember him
Yes.
setting himself on fire like the Human Torch. No.
Yeah, so that really bothered me. I was like, "What the fuck?" And how metal would work, the metal would melt in your skin. And like, I don't know, maybe that's just too. Anyway, but in terms of the action scenes, I don't think they were horrible. I think some were horrible. I think some were standouts. I thought the scene with like I said in the beginning with the Southern Air Tail, I thought the opening scene was really good with the Earthbender trying to escape from the Firebenders. I really like that scene a lot. The Kyoshi scene, people were making fun of on TikTok because how she flies off. I thought it was decent. Um, but now let's talk just some things about like the show that I just kind of left like little notes on. I want your opinions on as well. To me, even when I watched the animated show, it never made sense to me when the Firebenders come to attack the Northern Water Temple. How could you possibly get there? Like, how could you possibly do an attack on the Water Temple on the ocean? Like, can't the waterbenders just come together and create like a tidal wave and get y'all ships off track? Like the logistics of that just doesn't make any sense to me. How could you ever attack a water temple through the ocean on ships?
I mean, the counter to that would be it looked like they had maybe 200 soldiers and the Firebenders
Who
had like 5,000. I mean,
who
so like,
cares?
but
One tidal
also,
wave, all those ships are done.
I mean, but like, does the Northern Water Tribe have that much power? Like, I don't,
I don't know
I don't
that.
know. I mean,
Okay, that was just weird to
yeah.
me. Aang flying was also a big point of contention. I thought that really bothered me. But I don't know if you watched Korra enough to see the importance of what airbending and flying really means when Zahir
Yeah,
was there.
Zaire. Yeah.
Zaire. So that was a very big thing of him having to let go in order to fly.
I don't
Um,
remember him flying at all. What are you talking about?
that was Zahir's biggest thing that he could do. Like no
No,
airbender
no,
could
no.
do
I'm
that.
talking about Aang in this series. Like, I don't remember him flying at all. Like, what are you talking about?
The literal first scene that we see Aang, he's literally flying around the air temple like this, like yay! He's literally flying around. I recommend you go back and check it out.
Really? Hmm.
Yes, he's like
Okay.
flying like Zahir. but anyway, so I
Okay.
guess that you don't have any thoughts on that. I did think it was really cool the Azula scene. So first of all, people were really mad that her fire wasn't blue, but I thought what they did in the show was actually kind of cooler. I'm not gonna lie, like the blue is kind of in I guess accordance with her emotions. Like when it's red or orange, and then when she gets madder or when she's about to really fuck you up, it turns blue. I do like that angle. I'm not gonna lie. How do you feel about that?
No, that's ass. Her fire should have been blue. She's a prodigy. So the
Yeah,
fact that
but I
her
mean
fire
she's
wasn't blue burned like it was stupid, and I didn't like it.
okay.
Every single time she was on the screen shooting fireballs, it was like, why is her fire not blue?
Okay, I like the idea of like that's like her final form, like that's when it turns blue. I like that. Now I did think her lightning scene. I ain't gonna lie, like that got me kind of hyped because I was just so dead for a long time watching the show with dead eyes, and I was like, oh shit, that was just so cool to me how we got lightning in season 1 and how it looked. It looked really dope. What were your
Uh,
thoughts?
it didn't move me. Sorry,
All righty.
it didn't.
There was one moment in the
Little
show that
baby
got
ass lightning. It didn't move me.
any kind of emotion out of me, and that was when they almost fucking killed Momo, bitch.
Bruh, yo, no,
That
nigga,
was not in the animated show. I said, hold on now.
nigga,
I know we're doing some changes.
me, me and
Don't you
no,
fucking do it, bitch.
me and Avi was watching the show when that rock fell on Momo and he didn't move. I was like, hold the fuck on, nigga. I'm turning this bullshit. This is the last episode. I don't want to see no more. Ain't no way they trying to kill Momo.
Ain't no way, nigga. You can kill Katara, Zuko. Hey, you not killing fucking Momo, bitch.
Nah. That was crazy. And Netflix, fuck you,
Yeah.
bitch. You knew what the fuck you were doing. You knew what the fuck you were doing. It was like, I'm gonna scare these niggas.
Yeah, so
Nah, that was
was
crazy.
the only scene that got any emotion out of me, which is sad because that shouldn't be the case. Also, I want to say the whole thing about this show being so. Even though this had longer runtime than the movie, which the movie did the whole book in one movie, I'm not sure I'm not nuts for that. This this show had 8 hour long episodes, and it still felt rushed. And I just don't think that you have to do the whole book in 8 episodes. I get it; the kids are aging, maybe they're trying to do with that thing, but why not just tell 8 episodes and really give us time with these characters and flesh them out and maybe give us even more stuff that wasn't in the animated show and give us half of book 1. And then season 2 could be the other half of book 1. And then we get 6 seasons in total. Like, I don't see this idea why you have to tie up book 1 in one kind of season or one movie because it's just too much.
I think that ultimately I agree, but I think like my main counter would be that I completely lost my train of thought. I had no idea where I was going.
Okay.
Um,
I'm about to
what
say
were we
maybe
talking
they
about?
thought the kids would age too much between 6 seasons. Because I mean, but then just
Oh,
just change it to where it's not a year between Sozin's comment. Just make it maybe it's 5 years until Sozin's comment. Like I'd be okay with that. Would you?
no, 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 no. Stop that. But what I was gonna say, what I was gonna say was, I think the stuff they left out, like the Jong Jong and the pirates and shit like that. Ah,
No, no, it didn't
ah,
bother me either. It didn't
that's
bother.
what I'm
I'm talking about
saying.
just
Like,
it, but it still felt rushed though to me. The 8 episodes from
it did,
when we
but
started to the Northern Air Temple raid felt rushed, or Northern Water Temple raid.
it did, but like, do I need Jong Jong and all that other shit in there to fill up that void? I don't think I do. I guess what I'm trying to say is I prefer it this way. Like, give me
No,
the
but
eight
I'm saying
episodes and fit as
we
much as you
wouldn't
can into it.
we wouldn't have John John in there just to fill up episodes. It would be there to also help develop Aang more and develop Katara more. So like, don't look at it as like, oh, we're just
I
bringing in
mean,
John John to fill up time. Like we're
that
giving
wasn't their
we're
goal. He didn't do any other bending. That wasn't their goal, unfortunately. I mean, if he had even tried to water bend, then I may agree with you. But like they they
I'm
were just
saying
like,
you,
nope,
you,
this nigga's an
you can do
airbender.
that with a 16 episode book one. You can do that.
So you're
You can give the
saying,
Aang the water bending.
okay,
And you can
whatever.
give Katara's build from not even be able to lift a fucking bubble to being able to be one of the best fighters in the Northern Water Temple. You can give that build an organic build. I don't know.
Netflix ain't going
I,
for that. Netflix
yeah.
Netflix ain't going for that. So yeah.
Final thoughts regarding the show is that my biggest issue when it comes to these live action adaptations, but from anime or from animated shows, is that if you're not going to do one of two things, which is either differentiate yourself enough to be warranted to be made, or just or just basically just improve upon the source material. Well, I know, crazy, right? Don't do it. I know it's crazy. I know it's crazy to say. Don't do it. Don't like Percy Jackson. Yes, I'm looking at you. Don't fucking do it. If you cannot adapt the source material to enhance it or just make it different enough for us to even care, don't do it. And so it just really bothered me at this point. And so yeah, I ended up giving this show a C, and that is my objective grade. My subjective grade is lower than that, but I am trying to be fair and grade everything on an objective level. So it was average, but this show deserves to be way more than a C. The main cast deserves to be way more than just average to bad because these characters are amazing. And so it's to the point now where even if season 2 does course correct, I'm still gonna be disappointed because season 1 deserved to be great as well. And so this whole books 1 through 3 deserve great adaptation treatment, and I just don't think I don't see it getting better. But if it does, sure. What are your thoughts?
I think it can get better. Yeah, I mean, these are my final thoughts. I mean, my hope is that the main cast hang out for this next year and a half or whatever they have until they film season 2, and they actually build some actual camaraderie together. In that it actually shows in season 2. I hope that the actors that are involved get better. I hope they book other things. I hope they take more lessons. I hope they work harder and they get better because you can be better. Um, this thing doesn't define you, and if they put out great season 2 and season 3, and we I mean, I won't even watch season 1 anymore. So you know, I'm optimistic that this is going to be better. The source material moving forward is better. It's more character driven, so I can only hope that it's going to exceed expectations. But again, um, my expectations were very low for this. Once the creators said that they were hands off, that is the biggest red flag for me. The niggas that made this were like, we don't want nothing to do with this. Um, so yeah, shout out to Avatar. I objectively, it's a D. This is a bad show in my opinion. This season
Oh,
1 is
really? You think
bad.
it's a bad show?
This is
Wow.
a bad show. It has good things, and I think that, like, again, I'll say it again. Whoever is the creator of the show, the showrunner, their heart was in this show. They love Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like you can tell that they love it, but their ideas were just not the best in my opinion. So yeah, this was not even average. This was below average to me.
So better than the Shyamalan adaptation?
It's interesting that people are bringing this movie up. And I don't know if there can be a bigger mark of disgrace than being compared in any way, shape, or form to The Last Airbender. So the fact that people are even talking about The Last Airbender, yeah, that should show you how fucking bad this show is. So
can Toph save the show in season 2?
they're going to cast a man. So no.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
No, they're going to cast a buff man for Toph. It's going to be John Cena.
Okay. You're going off the rails. All right, now, guys, it's part 2 of our special edition pod. Now is for Dune 2 review. Dune Part 2, should I say? First of all, Julian, give people your thoughts on Dune Part 1, and then I'll give my thoughts on Dune Part 1. Go ahead.
Yeah, man, Dune Part 1, I actually really enjoyed. I didn't love it quite as much as you do.
What? You loved it? I mean, you enjoyed it? I thought you didn't like it. I'm tripping. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you are tripping. I actually really enjoyed. I just didn't love it as much as you. Like, to you, Dune Part 1 is a masterpiece. That's not what it is to me. I enjoyed the tropes of, the chosen one. There's this soul person that's going to save the world. I can get behind that. It's easy. And then from a filmmaking perspective, there's like nothing to hate on when it comes to Dune Part 1, bro. Like, it's shot beautifully. The cinematography is beautiful. The actors involved are all elite. Oscar Isaac, Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya. Zendaya was in it for 5 minutes, bitch. Josh Brolin. I'm sure I'm missing the Skarsgård brothers.
No, it's one Skarsgård brother, Stellan Skarsgård, who plays the Duke.
Anyway,
of Harkin.
Yeah, man.
Don't do that.
I mean, look. Something like Dune is very familiar. It's in that same vein of, Star Wars, Game of Thrones, where there's these huge universes, all these houses vying for position, and ultimately there's one who's going to save us all. But like I said, I'd be lying if I said that I loved this like you do. Like, I don't. It was good. I had fun with this movie. I watched it once. I watched a recap before I saw Dune 2, but I'm not going to have a Dune poster. I'm not going to have a Dune tattoo. So, yeah.
Got you.
Monty, go ahead.
Anyway, bitch, this is a masterpiece. Dune 1 was a masterpiece. I don't care what nobody says. And I'm glad you brought that Star Wars point, because I don't know if this is a fun fact most people don't know. Star Wars is heavily influenced by Dune. George Lucas has said it himself. The book came out before Star Wars, the movie. And like you said, some of those tropes of being the chosen one, or the idea of this non-religious group that has this power, the Bene Gesserit and the Jedi. The Force is a literal iteration of the Voice. The big sand planet Arrakis, Tatooine, and the Emperor. The list goes on and on. So, just for fun fact for all the people who didn't know that, Star Wars is heavily influenced by Dune. Now, in regards to book 1 or part 1 of Dune, I agree. I don't agree. It is a masterpiece, but everything you said is great about it. Like you said, the actors involved, the world building, the cinematography, the score, the scale and scope. I love scale and scope.
That little dumbass shit go hard. I ain't gonna lie.
When Hans Zimmer get on the track, it ain't many niggas fucking with him. You got John Williams right here, and you got my nigga Hans Zimmer right here. You understand me?
Okay. That shit was going crazy in that theater, boy.
Bro, that shit reminded me of the Wonder Woman theme.
Did it?
They just use it so much.
They do. But they literally do. It's okay.
I'm glad you say that too, because I think that Denis Villeneuve, who's the director of Dune, is like Zack Snyder in his final form. And what I mean by that is, first of all, I love Zack Snyder. People who I know, but it's like,
do.
So I know that's like blasphemous to say in the film community, but like, Villeneuve, if you watch any of his movies, whether it be Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, he brings the slow-mo, just like Zack Snyder. He brings the epic moments, the great shots. But unlike Zack Snyder, which is, I disagree, but his main...
It's all flash and no substance.
All flash and no substance, which I disagree. If you watch 300, if you watch Man of Steel, if you watch Watchmen, anyway. But Villeneuve always brings the substance. So that's why I say he's Snyder in his final point. Even though I love both directors, I think that he's really like just an elite Zack Snyder. But anyway, what are your thoughts now on Dune Part 2, now that you've seen it?
Yeah, man. Long fucking movie. Holy shit. That movie was long as hell. Right around the 2-hour, 15-minute mark, I was like, okay, cool. It should be wrapping up. And it was a damn near another 45 minutes. I was just like, Jesus Christ. I was happy when it was over, but again, I pretty much have the same reaction. Like it was good, man. Like I really, really enjoyed it. Um, Timothy Chalamet is like he's just a star, bro. Like it's easy to overlook like a leading man. I feel like, but like when somebody just has it and like whatever it is, like you can just tell. And Timothy Chalamet has it. Like he's absolutely leading man. We're gonna be seeing this nigga for the next 50, 60 years of his life, which is gonna be annoying, but what the fuck ever.
They're calling him the new DiCaprio of our generation or of the kids' generation.
Yeah. Um, Shout out to Austin Butler too, man. He was only in a movie for like 45 minutes, maybe,
Yeah.
but he was fantastic. As the I couldn't remember this. I couldn't pronounce the nigga name. He was like, nah, Duke Baron.
Fan Rad. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Yeah.
You know, that brings to my biggest fucking complaint. They need to put some fucking subtitles on this motherfucking film. These niggas talking in like 10 different languages. They saying all these names and places. Like, bro, I don't know what none of this is, bro. Like, help me. But anyway, yeah, man.
Is
Look,
it hard for you to understand Stellan Skarsgård dialogue? He was the only person dialogue I was like, because his voice is so deep in the movie and like it's like this weird. Was it hard for you to understand his dialogue?
it wasn't hard to understand his. It was hard to understand Javier Bardem at times, and it's hilarious because 80% of his shit has subtitles anyway. But even like when he was speaking like even a little bit of English, I was just like, what, bro? Like, what?
Okay.
I
understood him completely.
No, yeah, I mean, I didn't have a problem with Stellan Skarsgård at all. But anyway, yeah, Austin Butler, bro, fucking awesome. Like just awesome. Like again, somebody that just has it. Like this dude's a bona fide star. His final scene with Timothy Chalamet was just absolutely, yeah, it was just absolutely entertaining. Both like it's just like these two. Can I call them powerhouses already? I'm powerhouses already. Like just linking up like in their first form. This isn't even their final form. Like these niggas are linking up already in their first forms. It's just crazy, man. Zendaya was in it so much. I was just like, wow. Like I'm sure like all the fangirls are mad because I'm sure they're like, I'm not watching this shit again. But she literally has the most screen time I saw from Timothy Chalamet. She maybe have more. But yeah, man, just a real fun journey. I honestly thought around the 2 hour mark, when, like I said, or 2 hour 15-minute mark, when I thought I was about to wrap up, I thought that we weren't going to get any resolution to all the things that they were introducing. And then the last 30 minutes happened. I was like, God damn! All right, well, these niggas had an entire war with the emperor. The emperor's been defeated. He's got a new wife. This nigga's a Harkonnen. Yeah, I mean, so cool. This nigga drunk the poison of the sand, whatever the fuck they're called, and
Water of life.
now he's a witch even more.
Don't reduce dude to that bitch. Don't you reduce dude to that.
He's a witch. He's just a witch. His little voice thing is so fucking funny because
that's just hard to me.
It is, but like there's never any warning. It's just like silence. And then, it's like, oh, okay, Mr. Man, sorry. But yeah, man. Again, this movie was just as epic as the first one, in my opinion. Maybe even more so. It had some of the best shots that I've seen in a while. And I think like cinema, like the movie theater, like I think like the movie theater needed this. This is the first time, maybe in like 6 to 8 months, that I've been in a packed theater. And look, don't take that for what it's worth, guys. I pretty much go to the movies once a week, but still, like, I mean, I thought niggas should have been in there for Godzilla -1, and they wasn't. Okay, but
it was me and two other niggas in Godzilla
-1. Right, you know what I'm saying? Like when I went to see,
it's so funny. Like when he did his atomic breath, like me and the other two niggas looked at each other. We were like, "That was crazy." Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Look, when I went to go see Everything Everywhere All at Once, I was literally the only guy in the theater. Like literally,
really?
Wow. The only one.
That's crazy to experience by yourself.
It is. I had a great time. But anyway,
There were
Yeah,
people
like
crying in my theater for that movie. People were like crying, like it was a
yeah, me
very
too.
like
I was
communicative
crying.
experience.
Yeah, I was literally crying. But yeah, man, like it was great to like have a packed out theater for once. Like it felt like an event. Like it's so funny. Like my show time was at 7 local. I got there at 6:55. And I was surprised like that there was like a line in the concession stand. Like I was like, what the fuck are you niggas doing here? Like, what are y'all here to
Getting them
see?
Dune buckets and them
Yeah,
Dune
like
buckets.
first that's crazy. For anybody that hasn't seen the Dune the sand dune popcorn bucket, it's insane.
If you have one, I'm just gonna judge you like immediately. I know what you're using it for. You fucking freak.
But yeah, man, like I really enjoyed this, man. It's the best movie I've seen this year. That's not saying much, or is it? Uh
It's just February.
it is February. You're right, so it's not saying much. But yeah, man, really enjoyed this. This was better than the first one. I would say that. What's your thoughts, Monty? Give it to me. I know you're just waiting. You're just chomping at the bit.
Well, first of all, I've been seeing a lot online, well, on my For You page on TikTok anyway, of people saying that I thought that part one was just loved universally, and apparently it's not. People have been saying like it's boring, it's slow, and that they find it just too complicated. And for those people, this might sound very pretentious of me to say, but like, do you understand film? Like, I mean, like, I don't get it. Like, I did rewatch part one. It does start off a little slow, but like the slowness is so great to me because it's just world building that's just it's just done so well to me. And so I don't mind slow if it's payoff, if it's constant, consistent payoff. And the whole thing about it being too confusing to understand, I just don't. It's really a simple story. I mean, there's confusing things that like what does spice do, which I had to look up, like why is it being harvested like that, like. Other than that, though, I mean, I think it's really a simple, straight, like you said, it's like a Game of Thrones story. Like it's political houses vying for power.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, like you said, I do think this is an event. And now that I think about it, I haven't been in a movie theater that's been packed since like Barbie or Oppenheimer. Because Aquaman was empty as fuck. The Marvels was empty as fuck for me anyway. I don't know if you guys' experience with those movies. But all the big movies that came out towards the latter end of the year last year, I don't think I had a one single packed theater. That's a good point you made. Yes, this movie was excellent, man. And this was guys, for reference, this was my most anticipated movie of the entire year, 2024. It's just such a great feeling when you walk out of the theater, like, and they live up to the hype. It's just such an amazing feeling because more often than not, I'm just like, okay, that
Doesn't
wasn't what I
happen
thought it was
often.
going to be.
Doesn't happen
Does
often.
not happen often. All the things from part one ring true. The world building it just gets even deeper, and I love it. I think this might have the coolest world building I've seen in a while in cinema. People are calling it the modern Lord of the Rings, which I don't know. We'll see how Messiah is. But
is that what the third one's going to be called?
Yeah, Dune Messiah. So this Dune part one and part two is based on one book. Dune Messiah is just the Dune part two book, which my mom actually started reading the books, which is so funny. She didn't read sci-fi at all, but she loved part one so much that she actually started reading the books. And so there's an '80s movie, Dune movie as well. I'm going to watch now because I was scared to watch it because that movie tells the entirety of book one. I mean, the entirety of part one and part two in one movie. And so now I'm going to watch it just to see how it compares to this version.
That shit must be long as hell.
The '80s version?
Absolutely not. Hell no.
Okay, well, I'm gonna watch it, but yeah, the score, Hans Zimmer, like I said, Hans Zimmer, man, he's such a legend. He's such a legend to me, man. Hey, I want to shout out Greg Fraser. He's the cinematographer. He did the Batman as well as Dune Part One. He's just a bro. Like some of these shots, like you said, breathtaking. Like the scene in the opening scene when the Harkonnens are coming down and they're just flying up in their suit to that mountain to escape the sandworm. I was like, oh my God, this is a painting. It was just absolutely beautiful.
What the fuck? Okay.
And now, in regards to all the actors involved, like you said, Timothée Chalamet is a leading man. I've known him for a while now. People are just starting getting on board, which is cool. Zendaya, great. She has a first.
I've been sucking his dick for the long. Head ass. What the fuck?
It's been 3 years. Little Women.
Oh my God.
Zendaya,
wait. Speaking of sucking dick, this nigga Javier Bardem was glazing. He was glazing this entire movie, bro. Like, this nigga was like, no. You can do it because I know it is written. Like, bro, relax, bro. Oh my God.
Wasn't it funny when Paul was like, yeah, I'm not the Messiah. He's like, the Messiah said he would be humble, and then he would say he's not the Messiah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love. First of all, I love Javier Bardem. He's such a great actor, and
He
I
is.
thought he did amazing. He got a great voice. I was like, he needs to do some voice acting for real. I think he would be a great voice actor. But anyway, Zendaya, I'm so glad she had more to do because they put her on that marketing train in part one, like she was the fucking star of the movie, and I get it.
Chris
it's
Brown
Zendaya.
just stomped the yard.
Yeah, yeah, but I thought her Paul and Shawnee relationship was so sweet in the beginning. I thought it was a very natural, organic build up, and I love seeing them together. I watched this movie at an early screening in Atlantic City, Atlantic Station, downtown Atlanta. So all black screening, all black people in my screening. And bro, when anytime Florence, like that ending scene with Florence Pugh and it was Zendaya and they were like looking at each other, they were like, girl, girl.
Oh my God, no.
Bro, when Zendaya's character walked off, they they started clapping like, girl, yeah.
What?
He ain't finna shoot you and the princess. Oh, hell no, bitch.
No, bro, you're lying, bro. I'm calling cap, bro. No way.
That's my dad. Yeah, that's my dad. But my dad went with me. At the very end, when she housed on that sandworm, they're like, "Go ahead, B, go find your other man." I was like, "Oh,
what?"
Yeah. So
I don't miss Atlanta movie theaters. Holy fuck, bro! Oh my god.
Watching movies with black people is it's an experience. Anyway,
it is a fucking experience, guys. For anybody that hasn't done it, holy shit. I saw Get Out in a room full of niggas. That was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. My biggest nigga moment in the theater was when I watched Girls Trip in a theater full of just 40-year-old black women. I was like, oh my god! I ain't gonna lie, it kind of amplified my experience because I was looking at him at a certain point. But that was, oh my god, that was an experience. Back to this movie.
Yeah,
I love all the new members that were involved as well. Florence Pugh, I know you're not the biggest fan of her. I thought she was fine for what she was given.
Yeah, she was fine for what she was given. Thank you. 5 minutes of fucking scream time, like she fucking deserves.
Hopefully, she has more to do in Messiah.
She will.
Christopher Walken, a walking legend. No pun intended. But like you said, the standout for me out of all the new people was Austin Butler. He has that instant presence. People on Twitter apparently are saying he's like the Dark Knight. He's Heath Ledger, and like, relax. But he can still be a great. You can still be a great villain without being Heath Ledger level. Okay, but he was a really, really great villain. And he, like you said, he had that instant presence. That infighting between him and Paul, bro, like I had my theater hyped. I don't know what people were like. Okay, yeah. Like when Paul Atreides did that like spin in the air, they're like, okay, Paul, like yeah.
Bro, ain't no. I'm calling the manager, bitch, because you're not gonna do this to me. Not in my fucking over the night, bitch. What the fuck? That's crazy.
But that Elvis accent is still kicking his ass. I don't care what nobody say.
I was listening so hard for it, bro. I couldn't tell. I really couldn't.
You're asleep, bro. People were like, "Oh, it's gone now." Like, nigga, no. And he was like, "Oh, the Bene Gesserit. We gotta stop him." I'm like, come on, Austin.
You're crazy.
It's time for this exorcism right now. This can't keep going on. But yeah, like I said, Paul and Shawnee was cool. I think, like I said, the whole thing regarding the Fremen culture, the Bene Gesserit, just such cool lore. I hope they keep expounding on it with these, if they do new movies. I love the themes of religion in this movie. That was handled so well, and the parallels, because I grew up in a highly Christian household. I still consider myself a Christian. A lot of parallels there. I thought all that stuff, like the Messiah and how it was handled, the power of what faith can do. I love those themes. I love how Paul Atreides is just I think he's just about it, bro. He just want, like, a lot of times I've noticed with these newer movies, the whole woke agenda, they try to make, he wants revenge, but he's gonna, like Black Panther, but he's gonna do it in a way where it appeases everybody, and we're not gonna go the most violent route. Paul Atreides said no. At the end, nigga, like Josh Brolin or fucking Thanos was like, nigga, I'll do it for you. Paul Atreides said, nigga, no, nigga, it's my fight, nigga. I'm not with the nigga. And he's like, no. His mom was like, you don't believe in revenge, or your father didn't believe in revenge. Well, I do. I love that about Paul Atreides. He's just about it. Zendaya has a great scowl. I feel like 80% of her on the screen was just her looking at the screen like, I'm like, okay. Granted, it's a great scowl, but goddamn, they overused it in my opinion a little bit. Yeah. I love also how the ending to this movie mirrored the ending to part one in terms of this one-on-one fight, this epic one-on-one fight. And I feel like that had to be a creative decision that was made pre-production because, like I said, it's not supposed to be two movies. It's supposed to be one movie or one book. And so just for Denis Villeneuve to have that foresight to be like, okay, I'm going to end part one with a one-on-one fight between Paul and part two. That was just a great mirroring there and what they meant to the story. Like you, my only gripe is one thing with this movie, and I think it's a great movie, but I have one gripe about it. We spent so long with this build up to the finale and the climax and just being immersed into the world of Arrakis that by the time we got to like maybe 40 minutes left in the movie, I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's no way we're gonna tie up all these loose ends in one movie. Like, there's just no way. And they do it.
Yeah.
And it's satisfying, but
Mhm.
that felt rushed in comparison to the overall, I guess, pacing of the rest of the film. So
Mhm.
that's my only gripe. I gave the film an A-. I thought it was I actually gave Dune Part 1 an A. I gave this an A-. So both are really, really great. I'm gonna watch it again. My grade probably will change. But what's your grade for this? I'm just curious.
I gave it a B plus, man. I really, really enjoyed this movie, man. And some of the standout scenes they actually ended up giving away in the trailer, but it didn't even matter. Like, once you first of all, I saw it in IMAX. Once you see this nigga riding the sandworm in IMAX, it's just insane, bro. Like,
Oh, that was a great scene.
like just the visuals of it. Like, you're in that third person view, and like the sand is just fucking pummeling him. He's just like, and he stands up, and everybody just like, ah!
Did people clap in your theater when he finally wrote it?
No.
Okay, well,
No.
maybe that's just my Atlanta theater, but people were clapping. They're like, yeah, he wrote that thing.
Yeah, I would have called the fucking manager, bitch. What the fuck? Get these niggas out of here. This is not fucking Medea. What the fuck?
Bro,
That's hilarious.
The remember me putting that shit on. I don't know if you notice that shit.
They don't.
Nigga, I'm going to Dragon Con again for the second time this year, and I might have to get me a little Fremen authentic outfit.
Wow.
With some little blue contacts.
Okay.
And
You gonna get the nose thing?
Hell no, that's gonna ruin the whole trip. Lastly, I thought the idea of the Harkonnen planet was just so cool from a visual standpoint. Like, they had this black sun, and so when you go outside, it looks like a black and like bro, that's just Denis Villeneuve just flexing at that point. I'm like, oh my god, that looks beautiful. That whole little gladiator sequence was so dope.
Yep.
I thought that was just a really, really great scene.
Yeah, man. This was an experience in the theater. Avi didn't want to see this. She thought it was going to be boring or not for her. And honestly, maybe she wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did. But man, like, I really enjoyed this. I'm glad I saw it. I'm excited for part 3. Paul Atreides is the one now. He's taking the poison. He can see the future. So let's do it, man. I'm all in on Dune. I hope it continues in part 3, and I can't wait for it, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I think we're witnessing history. This might be our next Star Wars / Lord of the Rings. So I'm excited, man. And Villeneuve is my favorite. Well, one of my favorite directors. So yeah, guys, that wraps it up. That gives us our review on Last Airbender and Dune Part 2 Special Edition pod. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Make sure you like the video, guys. Comment down below. What was your favorite episode of Avatar? What was your favorite moment in Dune Part 2? Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it, Money.
Thank you. Bedtime.